All right, so a compressor. What's a compressor? How do we use a compressor? And when we're trying to figure it out, what the heck are we doing? Don't worry about it. I'm going to help you understand what a compressor is and how to use a compressor. Up next. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Low Nose. I am Lo, where I talk about audio, video, tech tips, and also share my voiceover experiences with you as well. All right, so today's video comes by request where it's like, hey, can you show me how to use a compressor within Audacity? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. I will be up straight with you right off the bat. I am not a fan of the compressor within Audacity. I feel like it does have some limitations, but it does get the job done. Now, to start off with, what is a compressor? Well, a compressor is what limits the dynamic range of your audio. To make it plain and simple, there are a whole bunch of attributes that you can use with a compressor, but the main thing is, let's just say if you have a normal talking part right here, and all of a sudden it gets really loud. Well, what the compressor will do is limit that dynamic range of the loud part and put it on a similar level of the normal dialogue speaking part. Now, within this lesson today, we're going to use a compressor for usually just dialogue. So we're talking about YouTube videos, maybe YouTube gameplay videos, where it's like, yeah, I'm killing somebody. Whoa, shoot. You know, we'll make sure that that audio sounds sweet. If you're doing podcasts, this lesson will help you sweeten up the sound of your podcast as far as compression. If you're having like a multiple dialogue and all of a sudden you and your co-host, or just maybe you as well, it's just like go crazy getting loud, you don't want your listeners, whether it be on your YouTube videos or podcasts, you don't want your listeners jumping for that volume button to turn it down, because that can be an unpleasant experience for them. All right, so let's jump into Audacity, and I already have some pre-audio set here that I created for you, and let's take a listen. So what compression does is it limits the dynamic range of an audio file. So when you get to parts where it's really loud, just like this, it'll sound comfortable to a part just like. Okay, so there you go. We're just talking normally, and then for some reason, boom, the volume just gets crazy loud. We have to find a way to tame that, to compress that. So we will highlight our entire audio file, and then we will go to effects and compressor. Okay, now you can see a bunch of different options here that you can use to play with your compressor. The threshold, and I'll start from the top and I'll explain everything as I go along. The threshold, this is the point where you want your compressor to start working. Okay, now what you want to do is take a look at your audio file. Okay, see what's going on with the dynamics of the audio file. I'm going to switch our view here to waveform decibels. And we can see here that our normal speaking level is probably hovering maybe around, let's say, max 10 decibels, maybe 15 decibels for our normal speaking parts. And then the loud parts, it goes well above 0 decibels. All right, so I'm going to go back to my regular waveform. All right, and we'll go back to our compressor. And so our threshold, like I said before, the threshold is the part where we want our compressor to start working. It's not going to do anything else until the audio signal hits a certain threshold. All right, so right now, as you can see, our loud parts are well above 0. So let's start off right now. Let's start with -5 decibels. If our loud parts hits -5 decibels, I want our compressor to start working. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Noise floor. This is so you give the program a good sense of idea. Hey, around this area, this is just where the noise floor is. This is where the general ambiance of the actual room or the audio file is hanging out at. And let's take a second look here. All right, and we can see that the noise floor is this is our noise floor right here, and it's probably hanging around -50 decibels. All right, so we will work with that. We'll go back to compressor, and we'll set our noise floor to around -50 decibels. And this is basically saying, hey guys, just kind of keep this in mind. Let's not try to raise this part up too much when we're doing our compression, because normally when you use a compressor, when you're compressing everything up, compressors normally tend to bring the volume up of the noise floor. Keep that in mind. All right, now the ratio. The ratio is how much compressor we are using with the compressor. If we have a ratio of, let's say like 1, oh, it doesn't go any further down, okay, of 1, then our ratio will it works at -5, and then that's it. When you multiply that, instead of -5, then think of it as a compression of times 2, 10, and then 3, 15, so on, all the way up. You know, the ratio is just like the multiplier added on top of the threshold of the computer, of what you're doing, if that makes sense to you. Trust me, it'll make sense when I show you examples. Just know, the higher the number, the more compression you're going to get. Bam. That's it. All right, the attack and the release time, we're not going to get too much into this because as far as what we're doing right now, YouTube videos and podcasting, but I'll give you a brief explanation. The attack time. This is how fast a compressor works, okay? So if I'm going, hey, what's up? Now I'm getting loud. The compressor will automatically, like, if the attack time is 0, when I'm getting loud, it'll shut it down. But if the attack time is at a slow time, hey, I'm getting loud. You see, the compressor works slowly. Same thing with the release, but backwards. All right, like, hey, I'm loud. No. Hey, I'm loud. But then if it's the reverse, hey, I'm loud. It's releasing it slowly. All right, makeup gain for 0 decibels after compressing. Guys, I have seen a lot of people saying to use this, but within my opinion, leave this off. What it does, it just introduces more noise. And plus, to be honest, I don't like the way the compressor within Audacity handles making up for the loss of volume when it applies to compression. It's just way too aggressive. It just makes everything way too loud. Me personally, I would rather do it. I would rather apply my compression and then increase the level again separately on my own, maybe with normalization or just kind of just raising the volume up. All right, so that's enough for explanation. Let's start actually applying this stuff to our audio file. Okay, so we're going to start off with -5 decibels and 2 ratio. All right, and let's see what we got here. Okay, absolutely nothing, because it didn't apply too much to it. Okay. You get the parts. Well, no, actually it did. Before we were going to the top, but now that we apply that -5, we can see that it brought it down a little bit. You get the parts where it's really loud, just like this. It'll sound. Okay, so we just noticed that we applied little compression. Let's undo everything again, and oh, it even changed that. And we're going to show what. And I will show you what the gradual compression will do and how it will affect everything. All right, so let's be a little more aggressive with our compression. Let's jump to about -15 decibels. Okay, we want our compressor to start working at -15 decibels. We'll apply it. Boom. Okay, there we go. So now we probably have something a little more tamer. Audio file. So we can get the parts where it's really loud, just like this. There we go. Okay, so we can actually see the compression right there where it's bringing our loud parts in line with our regular parts. Now, let's -15 right now and sounds good. But let's start applying the ratio. How is the ratio going to affect now? So I'm going to undo my compression and let's start over again. Compressor. We will leave it at 11 to 15, but now let's apply the ratio. Before we were doing a ×2 ratio. Let's go to 4 now. Let's see how much more compression we can put onto this. Real quick tidbit. If you're doing compression for, like I said, YouTube videos or podcasting or broadcasting, you normally want your ratio to be between 3 and 4. If you have some kind of project that's super loud consistently for a very long time, then that's when you would want to go up on your ratio to calm it down. But for the human voice is not normally like loud, 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 loud. So we don't need that high of a compression. Between 3 and 4 is a good point for your compression. Okay, so let's go again, and we should see the levels, the peaks drop down even further. Boom, and we did. So we can get the parts where it's really loud, just like this, and it's a lot more tamer. All right, so right now our compression is sounding good. It's sounding fine. Now, if you want to start getting that radio punchy sound, because that's whenever you listen to the radio, they use compression because there are so many people listening in their cars on speakers at work. It has to be audible. People within a general setting cannot be like going for the volume. So they use heavy compression on radio stations when playing music or just morning shows. So let's go ahead, and if we want to add that heavier compression, we are going to drop, or if we want to get that radio sound, we're going to add a little more threshold to the audio file. So we're going to start with negative 25. We'll leave the ratio at 4. And now we're going to start hearing our audio sounding a little more punchier. Boom. Audio file. So when you get the parts where it's really loud, just like this, it'll sound... Okay, so now that we've dropped the threshold on our audio, now that the bottom part is starting to feel the compression, then it starts getting that punchiness sound. Now remember, with compression, you don't want to overuse it. This is not something that you should be like going to the maxes, because it will make things sound bad. The more threshold you put on an audio, the more noise you're going to bring up from the noise floor. This gives a program a certain dynamic, like, hey, don't try not to mess around with this, but you know, the more threshold you add, it's just going to be too much for it to ignore this number. All right, so for craps and giggles, let's go ahead. Let's throw our ratio even higher. Let's see what happens. Let me undo this so we have a sense. All right, we would go back again, compressor, and ratio 10, and blamp, it flattens it completely. Parts where it's really loud, just like this, it'll sound comfortable to a part. All right, and that is that. Now, for one final thing, remember I told you I didn't like the makeup gain for 60 decibels. I just don't like the way how it handles it. Let's see what happens here. Because I will tell you the truth. This thing is sometimes it goes crazy, and then sometimes it's like not so crazy. Still not a fan of it either way. But makeup gain for 0 decibels after compressing. Let's see what happens here. You will definitely just see the noise floor. The quiet parts here just get out of control. Bam. Okay. And you can see how noisy it is. And let's change the view. Yeah, you can just see how it's just bananas. But let's do the real thing. Let's go the ear test. It's the dynamic range of an audio file. So when you get the parts where it's really loud, just like this, it'll sound comfortable. Yeah. All right. So it sounds big, boomy, bassy, punchy. But can you hear that noise floor? Yeah. Nah, I don't like it. You could probably use some kind of a noise filter to take it out beforehand, but it's there. And I'd rather make those adjustments afterwards. And that's it, guys. That is compression in a nutshell. You can take these points in any kind of form of compression, but you now know how compression works when it comes to YouTube videos, dialogue videos, podcasting, or radio broadcasting. That is compression in its simplest form, and it's not hard at all. Mainly, if you got loud parts and you want to calm it down, you want to bring it down to a nice listening level, use compression. And that's it. All right, guys, if you found that video helpful, go ahead, leave a like. If you can, share this with others as well who you feel that this may be helpful to. And don't forget to check out my other videos on the channel and also my social medias on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Guys, let's have a conversation. You have any questions, reach out to me. I am more than glad to help you out. Until next time, guys, keep making videos. Don't stop doing. I'm going to work on that. I will catch you in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you like that video, go ahead and check out these other videos as well. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any other videos. Hold on a second. Hello? Yeah. No, I told you I'm not going to do that. No, it's not. How much? Oh.